Chat, we are watching why Twitch is collapsing. Let's see what this is about.
In 2014, Twitch was the fourth largest source of internet traffic in the United States. Behind Netflix, behind Google, behind Apple, but ahead of Facebook, ahead of Hulu, and ahead of Amazon itself. A decade later, that number is 18th, and the company that bought it for nearly $1 billion has started calling it something internally. A phrase that should terrify anyone who's ever built anything inside a corporation. A zombie brand. That's the actual term Amazon employees use. A zombie brand. Something that's technically still alive, still running, still burning cash, but for all practical purposes, dead on arrival.
Dang.
Parked next to the Goodreads and Mechanical Turk, in the corporate graveyard of acquisitions that never lived up to the pitch deck. Here are the numbers, and they're brutal. Average viewers on Twitch, down 21% from the peak. Revenue, down over $2 billion to an estimated $1.8 billion, and falling. Workforce, cut in half. Nearly 1,000 employees laid off in just over a year. The CEO went on record and said, quote, "We aren't profitable at this point." That's 10 years. 10 years under Amazon, a company that made
Chat, what do you guys think of what's it called? What do you think about this? Because they're saying like that it looks like it's falling. But like the streamers tend to want to defend, like they hate it, but at the same time they kind of defend it because they'll talk about so bad about all the other platforms. So like what is your perspective on that?
$68 billion in operating income last year, and Twitch still can't turn a profit. Meanwhile, YouTube Live now commands over 45% of all live streaming hours watched on the planet. A startup called Kick, backed by a crypto casino billionaire, grew 131% in a single year. And TikTok Live quietly passed Twitch to become the #2 live streaming platform in total hours. Twitch didn't just lose its crown, it lost the plot. This is the story of how the platform that invented...
You know what's interesting about TT being bigger? It's interesting because like the split with TT and like what the streamer gets is way worse too. But I guess it's just like if you're already there, like it's still giving great revenue versus over on the purple side. But like for example, if I got a Galaxy, I could get like $3.30 from that $10 Galaxy, and then I have to keep streaming longer just to make it like $4.
Modern live streaming, the place that gave us Twitch Plays Pokemon, that launched thousands of careers, that turned playing video games into a billion-dollar industry, managed to drive away its creators, alienate its viewers, and burn through nearly $1 billion of Amazon's money with nothing to show for it. And it all starts with a webcam strapped to a baseball cap.
Okay. Twitch is mandatorily, of course, with Kick, which is a direct competition, they will lose some market share. YouTube is the only platform that makes money, but has the best ad analysis, and video is a bigger part of stream. Exactly. It's because like with YouTube, you could still have the videos, and like for a while, it took to get decent with people wanting to watch live streams because like the structure of it was not that great, and like people were just so used to Twitch, but YouTube kept working on it and working on it. But like you still have that video option compared to over on Twitch and even Kick too. So like that's why YouTube is always still like one that people could go look at. Like not only that, it's like the way they give a better cut too. It's like there's still so many more benefits over the other ones. Um but like if you're looking at from the streamer side and just streaming and not even content editing or any of that, it's like you have to see purple or TT or green which one's gonna work. I think that's a big thing people don't really look at.
On March 19th, 2007, a 23-year-old named Justin Khan strapped a camera to his head and started streaming his life to the internet. 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Oh,
week,
that's why it's
no
called
breaks.
Justin TV
Khan
at
and
first.
3 other Yale students, Emmett Shear, Michael Seibel, and Kyle Vaught, had driven from New York City to San Francisco the previous October with $50,000 from Y Combinator, and had an idea they figured would probably fail within a year. They called it Justin.tv, and the live casting concept did fail.
That's crazy how they just named it after one of the people. TT pays for. I'm not even on TT anymore because they can say the names now. TT. Why is this not? Ah! What's happening? What's happening? Ah! Bingus, bingus, bingus. Bingus, 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 bingus. It took me all over the place. Give me a second. Okay, yeah. TT pays for H2 coders so that they can deliver to places that don't have unlimited data for cell usage. Twitch is a loss leader for Amazon, and Kick is a loss leader for Kick. Aeyvi improves compression for videos, but you can still have crazy data centers and storage. Yeah. So, like, for example, with this conversation, right? With with Kick and Twitch, right? I think it's because a lot of features that seem like is productive don't really come across that way, especially because like the features that they always are asking about, like for example, like if someone like decides to do, let's say someone gives you 500 subs, right, and decide to default the sub thing, it's a negative on the creator. Like they don't have good protocols for that. It's not like a creator can help with that. It's like it's not the creator's fault. Someone decides to sub and then decide to take that sub back. So it's like, what is the creator supposed to do? And it's like then they work on, hey, so here's an option to give 1,000 subs now. It's like, what? I don't even think that. I think that only lasted a short time because of all the backlash. So it's like the stuff people want is like, are they doing it? But that would be the next steps for those who aren't already doing it. Okay.
Fail. Nobody wanted to watch Justin Khan eating cereal at 2 in the morning. But the platform survived because it turned out people wanted to use it for something nobody expected: video games. Users were broadcasting their gameplay, and other people were watching. Not just a few, thousands, then tens of thousands. The chat was active, the chat was alive, the energy was real. Something was happening here that traditional media couldn't touch. By 2011, the gaming category was so massive that the team spun it off into its own category. They named it after the split-second reactions that defined competitive gaming: Twitch gameplay. Twitch.tv launched on June 6, 2011, with Emmett Shear as CEO. The growth was absurd. 3.2 million monthly users in 2011, 20 million by 2012, 45 million unique viewers by 2013, and by February 2024, Twitch was the 4th largest source of peak internet traffic in the United States, ahead of Facebook.
That's
Google
crazy.
saw what was happening and moved first. They reached a preliminary deal to buy Twitch for about $1 billion.
Wow.
But here's where the story gets interesting. Antitrust concerns killed that deal. Google already owned YouTube. Regulators would have looked very hard at one company owning both YouTube and the dominant gaming livestream platform. The two sides couldn't agree on a breakup fee if regulators blocked it. So the deal collapsed, and Amazon swooped in. On August 25, 2014, Jeff Bezos announced the acquisition: $970 million, all cash. It was the largest acquisition in Amazon's 21-year history.
All cash
The
is
logic
crazy.
on paper, Twitch gave Amazon the world's largest community of online gamers, a platform for advertising, a vehicle for promoting Amazon's own game titles, and, this part often gets overlooked, a fire hose of user data. Every Twitch user was a potential Amazon Prime customer. Every streamer was a potential product evangelist. And for a while, it looked like genius. In February 2014, something happened on Twitch that had never happened anywhere else on the internet. An anonymous Australian programmer set up a stream of Pokemon Red and connected it to the chat. Viewers could type commands up, down, left, right, A, B, and the game would execute them. All of them from everyone at the same time. It was pure chaos. Over 16 continuous days, more than 1.16 million people participated. 121,000 played simultaneously at peak. They beat the game together through the digital.
So, with the Prime subs and the Prime wanting to use Amazon, it's actually very interesting because someone had told me, they're like, yeah, Twitch is actually banking on you, or Amazon's banking on you not to use your Prime sub because they lose more money with that. And like it has you thinking, like, that's why they're always doing like a time limit on this monthly subs, where it's like, oh, you have to wait for this exact time and date. Like it can't be the same day you got. It has to be like same hour and day that you got the sub, so you could resub, or the next day, and like just not even the month of it. It's just actually very frustrating because like it's like if you forget the sub, it's not like it rolls over. It's like, oh well, you lost the sub, so. And they don't allow auto sub. That is correct. So, but it's like, oh yeah, you get a free Prime sub, but you have to like really memorize when your sub is and not forget it, or else you just lose on the month or how many times you don't sub.
Equivalent of 100,000 people trying to drive the same car. Twitch Plays Pokemon won a Game Award for the best fan creation and became one of the most iconic moments in internet history. It proved something important. Twitch wasn't just the place to watch, it was a place to participate. And that distinction would define everything that came next. By 2016, Amazon launched Twitch Prime, later renamed Prime Gaming, tying Amazon Prime subscriptions directly to Twitch benefits. Free monthly channel subscriptions, exclusive game content, ad-free viewing across the entire site. It was the financial glue that
Not the
connected
entire
Amazon's
site.
retail empire to Twitch's creator economy.
Not
By
now.
2017, YouTube's gaming standalone app was struggling so badly it shut down in 2019. Twitch had 15 million daily active users and a near monopoly on game streaming. The competitors were either dying or dead. Microsoft's platform Mixer, which spent an estimated $30 million to sign Ninja, and another $10 million for Shroud, shut down in June 2020, less than a year after those signings. The lesson was clear. Buying individual streamers doesn't move audiences. Viewers are loyal to the platform, not the person. And then COVID hit, and everything went vertical.
As far as I know, YT always lets us stream to use AV1. I don't know what any of this means. Y'all in chats can. Being free and saving space is crazy. It also saves so much money. Implementation costs is so cheap to consider it comparable. Videos in AV1 versus H.264 is 100 MB to 250 MB, so less than half the storage and bandwidth. Dang.
During the second quarter of 2020, Twitch viewership surged over 70%. Average concurrent viewers spiked from 1.26 million to 2.75 million by 2021. Hours watched hit an all-time record of 24.3 billion that year. Twitch's employee count ballooned to around 1,800. Celebrities were streaming, politicians were streaming, everyone was streaming. But here's the thing about sugar highs. They end, and what comes after is the crash. The world reopened, people left their houses, and the metrics started sliding. Average concurrent viewers, 2.75 million in 2021, 2.65 million in 2022, 2.4 million in 2032, 2.42 million in 2023, 2.37 million in 2024, and by mid-2025, roughly 2.16 million. That's a 21% drop from the peak. Annual hours watched, 24.3 billion in 2021, 22.7 in 22, 21.4 in 23, 20.8 in 24, and the 2025 projections, about 19 billion, back to pre-pandemic levels, as if COVID never happened. In December 2024, Twitch recorded just 1.58 billion hours of watch time. That was the lowest monthly total in over 4 years.
Dang.
And the revenue picture? Worse. Internal documents reviewed by the Wall Street Journal put 2023 total revenue around $2 billion. 667 million in ads, the rest from subscriptions and digital purchases. By 2024, that number dropped to an estimated 1.8 billion, an 8% decline year over year. Internal projections warn that Twitch could shed another $250 million in revenue by the end of 2025. This subject matter can be hard to digest, but for most Americans, their personal financial situation is the hardest subject to approach and manage. But with the Dollarwise budgeting app, you can finally take control, and since there's a free trial, you can see for yourself, get a full picture, automate your budget, get powerful insights, and set real goals that change your life. Download Dollarwise or go to dollarwise.com. And through all of this, 10 years of Amazon ownership, billions in infrastructure spending, pandemic-era growth that any platform would kill for, Twitch has never, not once, turned a profit. CEO Dan Clancy said it publicly in January 2024. I'll be blunt, we aren't profitable at this point. The reason is structural. Live video is absurdly expensive to deliver. Unlike YouTube, which mostly serves pre-recorded video that can be cached and distributed efficiently, Twitch has to push millions of simultaneous, low-latency, high-definition streams in real time across the internet. Google's custom transcoding chips process video at roughly 40 times lower cost than the standard CPUs Twitch relies on. That gap isn't a minor competitive disadvantage, it's a chasm. And Twitch's advertising infrastructure is primitive by comparison. YouTube's ad platform is self-service. Anyone can run ads for a few dollars. Twitch's requires direct sales engagement with budgets starting at tens of thousands. One streamer ran the numbers publicly. He earned $30.58 in ad revenue from an entire month of streaming on Twitch, 100 unskippable ads across 90 hours. Meanwhile, a single 8-hour YouTube stream earned him almost $90, 3 times as much.
Dang.
About 90% of Twitch creator revenue comes from fan funding, subscriptions, donations, bits, not ads. That means Twitch is fundamentally reliant on its most dedicated fans opening their wallets. And those fans, they're spending less than they used to. For years, Twitch's top partnered streamers had a deal, 70-30. The creator kept 70% of subscription revenue. Twitch kept 30. It was considered fair. The streamers created the content, built the communities, bought their own equipment, moderated their own chats. Twitch provided the servers and the audience.
This is actually what a lot of people who come over to the green side say, is that they just literally couldn't live off of the new deal because they're originally from the 70-30 deal. But then when this change is about to happen, they're like, that's too much of a cut.
70-30 felt like a partnership. Then in December 2022, Twitch's president Dan Clancy dropped a bomb. The 70-30 split would be capped at the first $100,000 in subscription revenue. Everything above that, 50-50. For standard partners, it was 50-50 across the board. The backlash was nuclear. Clancy's justification that a 70-30 split wasn't viable long-term rang hollow when creators could look across the aisle and see YouTube offering 70-30 to everyone, and a new platform called Kick offering 90.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of crazy. YT, who's gonna buy Twitch, was gonna offer 73, and they're like, oh yeah, that's not viable. I mean, well, why isn't it viable for them? Are they looking into other things? Like that is a big cut. So, but you know, that's his reasoning.
5-5. Let me say that again. 95% to the creator, 5% to the platform. 22,000 streamers signed a petition demanding better terms. YouTube's gaming head responded publicly. The creator should be getting a disproportionate amount. This shouldn't even be up for debate. Twitch eventually created the Partner Plus program in June 2023, resorting 70-30, but
that's wild. Like, so they went to that, and then Partner Plus. Oh my goodness. That is diabolical. Mind you, they have the biggest streamers like Kai Cenat. They have all those people like Queso, X, Y, and Z. They have like what they say is not about the content. They have all the big time content creators. So what is the problem?
Only for streamers who maintain 350 recurring paid subscribers for 3 consecutive months. That's roughly the top 1,000 creators on the platform with 14 million streamers. The other 99.99%, 50-50, take it or leave it. And then came the data breach that changed everything. In October 2021, a hacker exploited a server configuration error and dumped 125 gigabytes of Twitch's internal data onto 4chan. The entire source code, internal security tools, proprietary development kits, plans for an unreleased Steam competitor codenamed Vapor. One cybersecurity expert compared it to KFC losing its secret recipe. But the most damaging part? 3 years of creator payout reports. Every streamer's earnings from 2019 to 2021, published for the world to see. Critical Role, 9.6 million. XQC, 8.4 million. Summit 1G, 5.8 million. Those numbers sound great, but here's what the leak really exposed. The streaming economy was an incredibly steep pyramid. 72.6% of Twitch streamers made $0. Another 15% earned between $1 and $25 a month. The top 1% captured almost all the revenue. The rest provided free content that kept the platform alive. Twitch couldn't protect the financial privacy of its own creators, and it couldn't explain why the deal kept getting worse for the people who built the place. The creators weren't the only ones getting squeezed. Twitch turned on its viewers too. When Twitch Prime launched, one of its biggest selling points was ad-free viewing across the entire site. Link your Amazon Prime account, never see an ad, simple, popular, effective. In August 2018, Twitch killed that feature. No more ad viewing for Prime members. If you wanted that back, you could pay an extra $89.99 a month for something called Twitch Turbo. Strip a beloved feature from a paid subscription and sell it back as a separate product. Classic double dip. And the predictable happened. Ad blocker usage exploded. And
yep. So this is something that happened with thinking Amazon itself, which, you know, Jeff Bezos, right? Or whoever. Yeah, it's Jeff Bezos. So, Amazon used to be Amazon Prime, you used to be able to watch the movies there ad free, you know, because it was competing against Netflix essentially, right? Now you have to pay additional fee to get the ad free. I'm like, you know, originally there was no ads. It's like, why would I pay extra for this feature? I mean, some people would, but it's just like, why would it just be ripped away like that? It's not like it was like a limited time only. It's just like, I was like, one day I was just like, when did ads start happening? I was like, did I like lose my subscription or something? They're like, nope, it's just part of the deal now. It's like, and it's just like, well then, okay.
Twitch responded not by rethinking the strategy, but by going to war with its own audience. They deployed what the community called the purple screen of death, a non-skippable, multi-minute purple screen that interrupted your stream with a lecture about using an ad blocker, demanding that you watch directly on the main site. It didn't just annoy adblock users, it broke legitimate third-party embeds, esports portals, multi-stream sites, even charity streaming platforms, all collateral damage. Then came server-side ad insertion. Twitch's engineers started stitching advertisements directly into the live video feed at the server level, making them technically indistinguishable from the actual stream. You couldn't block them without blocking the stream itself, and the ads weren't gentle pre-rolls. They were mid-roll interruptions that would fire during the stream, during a clutch play, during an emotional moment, doing the exact kind of content that keeps people watching. One viewer summed it up on Reddit: Twitch is the only platform where paying money doesn't guarantee you won't be interrupted. The financial creator problems were bad enough, but Twitch kept stepping on the rakes. In 2020, the music industry discovered Twitch, and before May of that year, streamers received fewer than 50 music-related copyright notices per year. Then the major labels started sending thousands per week. The RIAA fired off over 1,800 notices in June 2020 alone, more than the previous 3 years combined. Twitch's response was to mass delete VODs and clips without telling.
YouTube fights ad blockers, but YouTube Premium is a better deal. I love having YouTube Premium, no ads on mobile, and free music service. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, not only that, I know, like, if you watch someone's video, like, and they have, like, a bunch of ads set up, because, like, the video, since you don't have the ads, because the premium, like, it would just count it that you already watched the ad just from watching the video. So
streamers which content was flagged. 5 years later, Twitch still has no comprehensive music licensing solution comparable to YouTube's Content ID. Then the hot tub meta. Streamers, primarily women, found a loophole. Twitch's rules allowed swimwear and contextually appropriate situations. Sit in an inflatable hot tub? Technically compliant. It drew massive viewership and split the community down the middle. Twitch eventually quarantined the content into a separate pools, hot tubs, and beaches category. About 11 major advertisers pulled their ad spend. The gaming platform had an identity crisis on its hands. And the gambling mess was worse. By August 2022, the slots category had accumulated over 50 million hours watched monthly. Streamers were broadcasting sponsored slot sessions from offshore crypto casinos to audiences that included minors. Then a British streamer named Slyker was exposed for scamming $200,000 to $300,000 from fans and fellow streamers to feed his gambling addiction. A cancer patient who'd been scammed called into a stream in tears. Pokimane tweeted, "Like if Twitch should ban gambling," and got 310,000 likes. Twitch banned certain gambling sites within days, but exempted sports betting and poker, a half measure that satisfied almost no one. And then there was Dr. Disrespect. In June 2020, Twitch permanently banned one of its biggest stars midstream with zero explanation. The history lasted for 4 years. In 2024, a former Twitch employee revealed the reason. Dr. Disrespect had been caught sending inappropriate messages to a minor through Twitch's private messaging system back in 2017. He admitted the conversations sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate. But here's the part that made people furious. Twitch had quietly settled with him in 2022, paying out his contract, no wrongdoing admitted. If they knew about messages to a minor, why settle quietly instead of reporting to authorities? Then came the branded content fiasco. In June 2023, Twitch released guidelines restricting how streamers could display sponsorships, limiting ad overlays to 3% of the screen space, banning burned-in logos. They were essentially trying to become the mandatory middleman in every creator sponsorship deal. The biggest names on the platform revolted. MrBeast asked, "How about instead of handicapping what creators make, you help them make more?" Twitch reversed the policy the next day. CEO Clancy personally apologized, "We messed up." 2 days later, that's how fast it took for Twitch's own leadership to realize they'd publish a policy without talking to a single streamer first. And that disconnect between the people running the platform and the people making it worth watching became the defining theme of the decline. Take a moment and get some free, easy money. With a Chime checking account and my link, you can get $350 when you make a video that keeps earning money from Silicon, surfaces live streams to viewers watching related shorts, VODs, and search results. Every live stream automatically becomes a permanent, searchable, algorithmically recommended video that keeps earning money forever. On Twitch, VODs auto-delete after 14 days for most users. The discoverability gap is devastating. Twitch's browse page sorts streams by viewer count. If you're not already popular, nobody finds you. Over 90% of Twitch streamers average fewer than 6 viewers. One Twitch partner said it plainly, Twitch should only be considered a home base. Your channel will not grow. YouTube solves this by blending content types, shorts, VODs, live streams, under one algorithmic umbrella that actively pushes new creators to relevant audiences. Then there's video quality. Twitch caps streams at 1080p with bit rates around 6,000 kilobits per second.
I don't know why this froze like that. Twitch also made changes that said how much real estate you can use for advertising something like charity, so they don't interfere with Twitch ads. That's crazy.
YouTube supports 4K at 60 frames per second with bit rates exceeding 50,000. For fast-paced games, the difference is night and day. YouTube also has a live DVR rewind feature. Pause it, scrub back, catch what you missed. Twitch didn't launch their own version until September 2025, and even then, it was desktop only, subscribers only, with a 2-minute buffer. XQC reacted, "This is like when Apple comes out with a new 13 megapixel camera, and people have had that for 12 years. Meanwhile, Kick came in swinging. Launched in late 2022 by the co-founders of Stake.com, an online crypto casino, Kick offered the jaw-dropping 95-5 revenue split. They poached some of Twitch's biggest names. XQC signed a non-exclusive deal worth $70 million guaranteed, with incentives pushing it to $100 million over 2 years. The largest individual streaming contract in history. Amaranth signed the next day for a reported 30 to 40 million. Kick grew 131% year over year by mid-2025, crossing...
How did this Amaranth stream on Kick? I don't even see her there. Well, I don't even have Hot Tub Meta or anything there. But, like, I know XQC is there, but Amaranth? If Twitch invested money into making a proper encoder chip like Google did, they would have had money. They would have been more profitable. Well, Google couldn't take them because of whatever they were talking about in the beginning.
4.5 billion hours watched. But here's the catch. Kick's economics are deeply tied to stakes gambling revenue. If gambling regulation tightens, that 95-5 split could evaporate overnight. And the era of massive streaming contracts appears to be ending. Both Twitch and YouTube have said they're done with the bidding wars. Clancy called them unsustainable. Kick's co-founder Bijan Tourani said the platform is not chasing big signers anymore. An interesting twist emerged in late 2024. Many streamers who had left started coming back. Dr. Lupo, Tim the Tapman, Ludwig, Sunkono, Valkyrae, they returned to multi-streaming when their YouTube contract expired. Their viewers preferred Twitch for live content at ratios of 3-1 or 4-1. Valkyrae revealed YouTube told her their priority had shifted to shorts over live streaming. The boomerang effect proved something important. Twitch's community culture is still powerful. People like being there. The chat experience, the emotes, the raids, the parasocial energy, it's real.
The viewers like being there, the streamers the streamers feel complicated with that, but they will still go over there due to their opinions on certain platforms. So, but yeah, like that's why it's like when people were talking about whether do you support the streamer or do you support the platform, and even the streamer themselves sometimes they will say they don't support the platform, but at the end of the day they'll still stay on the platform, not because they support, but it's because their viewers won't convert. So viewers like it there, the streamers are forced there. Yeah. So it's like it's one of those situations where the streamer has to just kind of just deal with it. It's just like the streamer has to be like, hey, you can also just donate to me instead for a bigger cut instead of just gifting the sub and stuff like that. And like you'd be surprised at how many viewers are not aware, like just donating directly is like a way better option, but they just want that experience of, oh, I just gifted 50 subs, like let's go. Like I know someone who didn't even have money and they gifted 50 subs just because they wanted to be noticed by a streamer, and it's just like, well, I mean, you probably should have really thought about that. So I don't know what to say.
Community loyalty can only carry a platform so far when the economics, the technology, and the management keep pushing people away. Twitch's problems aren't limited to the United States. They're global. In December 2023, Twitch announced it was pulling out of South Korea entirely. South Korea, one of the most important esports markets on Earth, the birthplace of competitive StarCraft, home to some of the fastest internet infrastructure anywhere. Twitch said network fees there were 10 times more expensive than in most other countries. South Korean ISPs operate on a sender-pays model, charging content providers for the bandwidth they consume. It violates basic net neutrality principles. ISPs double dip, charging both the consumer for their internet connection and the platform for delivering the content. Twitch tried everything. They capped stream quality at 720p. They killed VOD service for Korean creators. They experimented with peer-to-peer delivery. Nothing worked. The platform had been operating at a significant loss in Korea with no pathway forward. Korean streamers migrated to Africa TV and YouTube. In China, Twitch has been blocked since 2018. In Russia, the platform has faced fines and legal conflicts tied to content regulations and sanctions. In Turkey, a money laundering scheme exploited Twitch's bits currency. Stolen credits were used to buy bits and funnel money through streamers. Turkish police detained dozens of people. These aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a fundamental challenge. Live streaming is a high bandwidth, policy sensitive service. A few bad geographies, high network fees, censorship blocks, sanctions exposure, payment fraud can distort cost and reputation fast. As if the financial, technical, and competitive problems weren't enough, Twitch became a political battleground. The Platform Safety Advisory Council, launched in 2020 to improve moderation, became a firestorm almost overnight. One council member, a trans streamer and deer enthusiast who had self-identified as a deer on stream, sparked massive backlash for suggesting voice chat in competitive games was non-exclusive. She was doxxed. The council's credibility was destroyed before it accomplished anything. It limped along for 4 years before Twitch terminated all 9 members' contracts in 2024. Political content created brand safety nightmares. Hassan Piker, a leftist political commentator, draw 125,000 concurrent viewers during the 2020 presidential debate, rivaling major news networks. But advertisers grew nervous about appearing alongside polarizing commentary regardless of its direction. Twitch's moderation was criticized from both sides. Conservative creators and audiences argued that the platform was biased against them, citing bans they considered politically motivated. Several migrated to Kick and Rumble. On the other hand, leftist streamers like Piker, banned 5 times for political commentary violations, argued they faced disproportionate enforcement. In late 2024, Twitch introduced content classification labels for politics and sensitive issues. It pleased almost nobody. And then there's the broader cultural shift. Aiden Ross, banned from Twitch for homophobic slurs, racial content, and promoting gambling, became the most followed personality on Kick and hosted a 90-minute interview with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago that drew 580,000 peak viewers. The Manosphere audience found a new home. Twitch kept trying to thread a needle on moderation and kept pricking itself from every direction. Twitch isn't dying. Let's be clear about that. 240 million monthly active users, 25 million daily users.
I was gonna say, what? Then why he say it's collapsing? Even though it was like, okay. He said, okay.
Over 50,000 live broadcasters at any given moment. Users spending an average of 95 minutes a day on the platform. That's not a dead product, it's a wounded giant. The live streaming market itself is booming. It was valued at roughly $107 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach somewhere between $318 billion and nearly $700 billion by the early 2030s, growing at around 23% per year. The pie is getting bigger. The question is whether Twitch can hold onto its slice. Near term, expect more cost cutting. Expect multi-streaming to become the norm. Creators broadcasting simultaneously to Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, treating Twitch as one window among several. Expect Twitch to keep improving monetization tools, rolling out better mobile experiences, and leaning on AI for moderation and content discovery. GTA 6 could give all streaming platforms a temporary boost. Medium term, YouTube's dominance will likely consolidate. The structural advantages, discoverability,
I just realized he said GTA 6. Like, everyone's thinking riding GTA 6. It's all about GTA 6, GTA 6, GTA 6. Like, dang.
Integration, ad monetization, video quality are nearly impossible for Twitch to replicate. Kick's sustainability will be tested if gambling revenue dries up or faces regulatory pressure, and Twitch may quietly pivot towards being what it's already becoming, a niche platform for hardcore gaming communities and interactive entertainment, abandoning the quest for mainstream dominance. Most likely outcome, Twitch survives as a significantly smaller, more focused platform. The gaming-specific community hub within Amazon's ecosystem, living off Prime integration and a loyal core audience. Amazon has too much sunk cost and too much Prime infrastructure to shut it down, but it won't be the dominant live streaming platform it once was. That title belongs to YouTube now, and it's not coming back. Twitch CEO Dan Clancy said something that stuck with me. He says that as technology progresses, quote, the desire for genuine, real-time connections will only grow stronger. And he's right. The desire is real. People want to feel like they're part of something happening right now. That instinct isn't going away, but wanting connection and delivering it are two different things. Twitch built the house. It just forgot to maintain the foundation. And now the floor is cracking while the neighbors are building skyscrapers. The platform that pioneered interactive live entertainment, that gave us Twitch Plays Pokemon and built the careers of thousands of creators, is now fighting for relevance in a market it once owned. YouTube didn't steal Twitch's crown. Twitch dropped it.
Okay, chat, what do you guys thought of the video? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think Twitch is gonna die just because of how often there's this ongoing war on the internet about it, but I do think, like, it is, like, it definitely fell off. And all they doing is making it worse for themselves. So, like, they really have to figure out how to actually improve it. So, how if you watch Twitch, or if you're a streamer at Twitch, what do you think is something they can improve? True, it's like the one-stop shop from China. I like their animation. I like how the person keeps saying Twitch plays Pokemon, even though they were just lucky the creator. I mean, I know. I was just like, no, Twitch didn't bring that. The creator brought that. They just happened to stream on Twitch. So, because it was the streaming platform and YouTube wasn't. So I was just like, bruh, if YouTube had that, same thing, kind of would have been the same thing. So, but with that being said, I hope you guys had a good one. You guys take care. Ciao.